Good evening, and welcome to our Civic Engagement series. This is the first of a few, so stay tuned. But tonight we'll be talking about youth voices in civic engagement, hope in our community. So, what's the big deal about civic engagement? That's what you'll find out. I'm Dr. Tiffany Franklin, Associate Youth Specialist with the Southern University Agricultural Research and Extension Center. And I have the rest of my team here, and I will yield to Ms. Keller to introduce herself.
Good afternoon. My name is Kiana Kelly. I am an associate agent in Family and Consumer Sciences in East Baton Rouge Parish.
And I'm Kayla Fontenot, and I'm an Assistant Area Agent, Youth Development in St. Landry Parish.
And we're actually fortunate to have some youth on with us today. So I'll start with Ms. Taylor. Tell our audience who you are.
Hi, I'm Taylor Holden. I attend Slaughter Community Charter School. I am 14 years old and I am a freshman in high school.
Next, we have Sydney Marshall.
Hello, I'm Sydney Marshall. I am a sophomore in high school. I am 15 years old and I attend Zachary High.
And we're delighted to have you ladies on our platform tonight.
All right, so the overview for this series is youth will learn what it means to get involved in their community and how powerful their voices can be to change the situations and circumstances in their schools and neighborhoods. They will also learn civic engagement is not just about politics, but non-political processes too. When you hear the phrase civic engagement, what comes to mind? And before we ask you guys to answer this question, I'll just give you a little example. Like I can remember back when I was your age, let's say, for example, the political side. I can remember my parents speaking to me and stressing to me the importance of voting and knowing who you're voting for and why so that you can make a more informed decision. And for the non-political side, I can remember volunteering at the churches when they would give out the supplemental food program or commodity, or just by simply going to the corner store for elderly in my community.
And Kayla, I can share something there too. Growing up in rural North Louisiana, there were a lot of elderly individuals who went to my church. But just something as simple as, being at the post office and noticing, my neighbor, if you will, who may have taken a little bit extra time getting out of the car, but just simply offering, to go and check her mailbox for her, just saving her those few steps, or doing a grocery store run, out of town for him or her in our communities. Those are little small acts of our duties as a citizen. So we'll learn a little bit more about that one small act that is actually all wrapped up into civic engagement and us being responsible citizens.
And one thing politically that my parents instilled in me was that my mother would always take me to the voting booth with her to show me how to vote. We also had those conversations about what we're voting for and the importance of voting. And then on the non-political side, I remember as a child when the postal workers would put that brown paper bag in the mailbox, and it was for, I think, stamp out hunger. And I would get so excited to get that paper bag and go to my pantry and go get those non-perishable items in order to be able to donate and give back to the less fortunate.
So, ladies, when you hear the term civic engagement, what comes to mind? Because, like I said, this is a series where we want to hear from you. I told you all earlier, in another session, we think we have it all together as adults sometimes, and we feel like we know what's best for you. When we, oftentimes we neglect to hear from you. So, this platform is for us to learn from one another. So just tell me, when you think of civic engagement, what actually comes to mind? Who wants to jump in first?
I can go first. When I think of civic engagement, I think of communities working together or even individual people working together to better the community on the political and either non-political side. Um, just, helping the public and doing what they can.
That's awesome. What about you, Taylor?
When I hear civic engagement, I think of giving back to the community, helping others, like Sydney said, bettering the community. And yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
All right, so citizenship defined. Citizenship means enjoying certain rights and accepting certain rights and responsibilities. Citizenship, means responsibility. Obey laws, pay taxes, attend jury duty, and register for draft.
I want to jump in right here. The one that stands out to me is jury duty. Most times, Taylor and Sydney, you may hear some adults, think of jury duty like, oh my God, I have jury duty, or here's another notice. But, I actually had and I'll say the honor of, doing my civic duty and serving on a jury last year. I spent my birthday there. That was pre-COVID, so it was in 19. I spent my whole birthday serving on a jury. And it was actually an amazing experience to be on the other side, to be in the courtroom, to look at, the whole entire process, reviewing evidence. It was actually an eye-opening experience. So I admit, I was one of those individuals who ran from jury duty, not literally, because they will arrest you if you run from it. So I did not literally escape, my responsibilities for serving on the jury, but just really dreading the fact of having to drive downtown to go every day. But having served on that jury was definitely, it gave me a change of heart. They don't have to look for me anymore. I'll be looking for my jury duty notices. As weird as that may sound, I actually enjoyed the process.
All right, so be a good citizen. Being a good citizen is a very important component of civic engagement. Volunteering with community groups such as nonprofits, churches, schools, and nursing homes are all great ways to get involved in your community.
So with civic engagement, you will learn a lot of different life skills that tie in. So learning to be a good citizen requires competency in many life skills such as communication, problem solving, lifestyle choices, and goal setting. So let's discuss the youth's perspective on civic engagement. So let's talk about how you have been exposed to civic engagement. How does it make you feel? And how can you inspire your peers? So first, let's start with your exposure. Who exposed you? How are you exposed? It can be a political or a non-political example. And I'll start with Taylor.
I was exposed to civic engagement actually by my church and my school, well, my elementary school. At the church, we gave back to the nursing homes. Like we would give them socks, like blankets, toothbrushes, and all that. And with school, we give back canned goods. Actually, right now, we are doing the same exact thing. We're giving canned goods to the Soviet Army for the people like orphanages and homeless people and all of them. Yeah.
Sydney.
I was exposed. Oh, I'm sorry. I have been I've seen civic engagements in my school also. My volleyball team, every like we'll say a week before Christmas break, we will go out together and buy little gifts and toys, and we would go back to our locker rooms and we would wrap the gifts and put inspirational notes into the gifts, and we would send them to the Salvation Army to give to little kids for Christmas that didn't have anything.
So with those examples that you provided, talk about how that made you feel when you gave back. Sydney, you want to start?
So it made me feel really helpful and like nice, because I always love to give to people that are less fortunate than me, and it just makes me feel like I've done something to help better my community.
Taylor, how does that make you feel when you gave back to the nursing home, and how you gave back to the Salvation Army by providing those canned goods and things?
It made me feel happy seeing seeing the less fortunate people smiling, and how happy they were to know that someone does care about them. And yeah.
And so I'm going to yield to Dr. Franklin.
Well, I was just going to ask, how does, if you wanted to encourage someone else, because that's the reason too for this platform. We want to bring awareness to youth and civic engagement. So that's why your voice is so important to this whole series. We as adults, we can get off this call and let you all take the reins, to stress the importance of youth being involved in civic engagement. So what would you say to one of your peers to encourage them to get involved with civic engagement, or to just, do one small act of kindness for someone else? What would you say to encourage them?
I would let them know that it's always good to give back to people. Like usually some people, they don't really like doing it, but it's always good to give back because it makes you feel good inside, and the people always appreciate it. You never know how much, that will make an impact on their life. It could do more to them than it does for us.
What about you, Taylor?
What I would say to one of my peers is that I would tell them how good it makes you feel. And I would also bring them with me to show them how happy it makes that person, or just to see the smile on their face, to know that people care, and not just let them feel unwanted or unneeded or unhelped and all that.
I think you said something very key. Both of you are, right on target. So what you said, Taylor, especially in particular about taking someone with you, that's what I want to see for our next session, and we'll talk about that shortly. So we're going to say each one bring one. So next time, you along with one of your peers, I want to see you bring someone to this civic engagement conversation. And Sydney, I'll charge you with doing the same thing. Just bringing someone with you to sit in on this platform, because the more youth we hear from, the more we can do to increase our capacity and get more involved with youth voices in our communities. So that's your task for next meeting. And we'll get to the date soon, because I'm pretty sure you busy ladies have it on your calendar already. Hint, hint.
All right, now y'all ready to have a little fun? Y'all ready to have a little fun? Okay. So I have placed a U.S. Citizenship Quiz on this slide. So I'm going to give you the directions. So the questions below were selected randomly from the official list of 142 questions for new pilot naturalization tests for the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. According to the USCIS, most regional offices require a score of 6 out of 10 to pass. So I'm not going to ask Taylor or Sydney all 10 questions, but I am going to ask some questions to see what you know about citizenship, okay? So I'm going to start with Sydney. What is the supreme law of the land?
The supreme law of the land is the Constitution.
Okay, all right. Y'all hear my little bell? All right, okay. Next question, Taylor, it's for you. What do we call the first 10 amendments of the Constitution?
The Bill of Rights.
Okay. So y'all know a little something. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna move it down. Sydney, this is your question. Who is called the father of our country?
The father of our country is George Washington.
Okay. All right. And last one, Taylor, let's see. Name one state that borders on Mexico.
Texas.
All right, y'all, look, y'all smarter than some fifth graders, okay? Y'all knew these answers without hesitation, okay? You gave it to me. Great job, ladies. And these are the answers to the quiz that the ladies just took. So if you all wanted to share that with the youth, feel free to do so.
Awesome job. And as I just charged you ladies with, each one bring one. So we will have our next session. And the next session is You Take Action. Now, if you pay attention, what's in all caps?
Join us.
No, in You Take
Use
Action.
voices in civic engagement.
You is in all caps. So youth take action. So you take action. As I told you all before, we're the adults on the call, and we share some of our experiences. We want to share these experiences with you all so that you all can get more active in your communities and you can share those experiences with your peers. So you will take action. So we're teaching you all these life skills like Ms. Kelly mentioned on an earlier slide so that you all can take the reins and you all will one day replace us. These things that we're teaching you right now, you will be teaching someone else, in the future. So that's what we want to do. I talked a little bit about paying it forward previously in another session. So paying it forward with our civic engagement, that's what we want to do. We're paying it forward right now by teaching these things to you, and you all will pay it forward later. So we'll look forward to seeing you in our next session, and you'll bring someone with you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. I'm sorry. And the session after that, social media activism. Youth voices matter. As we told you before, you all hear a lot from us as adults, but we want to hear more from you. We don't have it all figured out. We want to make sure that the emerging issues that we are addressing, they actually meet your needs. So we have to hear from you all in order to do that. So we thank you, and your voices matter, okay? So don't ever think that it doesn't. So we just simply want to say thank you again for your participation this evening. Thank you for your insight. And, you know, I'm not telling anybody, but it was a long time ago, you know, since I remember, you know, the father of our country and all that kind of stuff. So this is actually a learning experience for me, and a refresher, if you will. So again, you know, we just want to reiterate to you all that, you know, us as law-abiding citizens, it is our responsibility to take care of the space around us. And that space around us is our town, our community, our neighborhoods, our workspace, our home space. These are all things that we need to make sure that we have a hand in and that we're actively involved. And one thing that I want to leave with you, one closing thought, is just to make sure that, you know, you understand your responsibility as a law-abiding citizen, but just making sure that, you know, what we do, it all comes from the heart, and we're sharing and caring and giving back to other people and making our voices heard in the community, because you do matter. We learn from you all as much as you all learn from us. You know, like I said, in developing programs, you know, that meet the needs of our youth across the state of Louisiana, we have to hear from you all to do that. We're older, we're not as, you know, sophisticated with technology like you guys are. You know, things are moving past us as adults sometimes. So we really need you, and we need you on this platform, and we need you to bring someone else with you.